Hey everyone, it's Michael GoosebumpsFan. I hope you're doing well today. I have another Goosebumps series book review for you. This era is from Series 2000, and that is number 6, I Am Your Evil Twin. Now before I get into the book review here, I want to apologize again. I know it's been like 3 weeks since I did a video. It seems like every time I make a video for like the last 2 years, all I do is apologize for how long it took since the previous video. There's not really any excuses this time. I've had allergies. Just didn't really feel up to reading. Just been watching a lot of movies. I've been watching the Nightmare on Elm Street movies again, which I love tremendously. The Scream franchise finally had its new DVD release for the new movie I hadn't seen yet, so I got it the other day. I watched that. And yeah, I've just been not feeling great, so I've been watching movies. The remodel process is still going on for our kitchen, so I'm still trying to hope that that'll be done the next couple of weeks. I thought it would be. I thought we were so close, and things just keep going wrong. Last week we didn't have any work on it at all, pretty much. So it's been a little bit sporadic here and there. I thought it was going to be done yesterday, and just more and more things keep happening. Of course, this is Easter weekend, by the way. Yesterday was Good Friday, spent a lot of time with some family. Going to spend some time with family today. And then tomorrow is Easter Sunday, so happy Easter to all of you. You know, God bless you. I hope you know Jesus. And today, like I said, I'm going to review this book, I Am Your Evil Twin. I started this, and I read like the first 30 pages like 3 weeks ago. Now, have you ever read like 30 pages of something and completely forgotten what you read at the beginning? I had to go back through and kind of take a couple of mental cliff notes in my head of what had happened here and there. So I might have some fuzziness to my review for the first 30 pages, which are kind of the beginning of the book. When I do this review, I tried to recap as much as I could and get all the major important things down. But even so, I read most of this book today, and I read an entire other Goosebumps book today as well, that I also plan on reviewing immediately after this and uploading it immediately after this for you guys. So, Series 2000, number 6, I Am Your Evil Twin. General thoughts. Wasn't a big fan of this one. I'm kind of ashamed of that because everybody else loved it that I talked to. Grayson constantly tells me how much he loves this one. It seems like it's one of the favorites of a lot of people when it comes to Series 2000, as is Revenge Are Us, I think is another book title in here. It has like the big bird on the front, the big crow or whatever, raven, I don't know. And I haven't read that one yet. But I typically save Series 2000 books because they have a darker edge to these types of books compared to the original classic series or the GYG books. And I love that about them. So I try to read the books that I think are going to kind of suck to get a lot of those out of the way, since I have more of those probably built up than I have really great reads like Slappy books and stuff left over. The new Slappy World book came out. I still haven't bought that either, so I need to get my hands on that at some point. There's so much coming out. Spider-Man came out. The Chucky Season 1 DVD came out. I have so much I've been buying left and right to watch that I'm, as a big fan of these franchises. It's been a mess. So I can't get my hands on Goosebumps because for whatever reason Barnes & Noble the last couple of times I've checked still don't have the new Slappy World book, Slappy in Dreamland. So I'm trying to get around to that at some point too. Otherwise I would have already reviewed it. This one was a big mixed bag for me. I really wanted to love it. I really did. I just don't. You know, Completionists seem to really like this one from what I can remember. I think he reviewed this one and recommended it a couple of times. I think Austin, Monster Blood, I think you've talked about it as well. I could be wrong. Seems like a lot of people really like this one. There's some really great stuff in this. I don't mean just mildly good, mildly meh type stuff. There's some really good stuff in this. The premise is interesting. It kind of keeps you going. I like kind of, I don't want to spoil this because it's really not a spoiler, but I like kind of mad scientist stories. But this one's a little bit too much like another very famous, and in my opinion, better book from the original classic era of Goosebumps. And if you've read both of these books that I'm referring to, that I'm not going to tell the title of because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, if you've read the other book I'm thinking about, and you've read this one, you know what I'm thinking about. You get exactly what I'm talking about. The parallels between the two stories are identical. And it's kind of a shame. It's that thing that happens with Goosebumps because there's so many of them, you know, and it is what it is. I don't really care. There's a lot of mad scientist type books in Goosebumps. Some are much, much, much better, like Frankenstein's Dog. And then you have this one that's just kind of whatever, with some really good stuff. It's not a complete miss. It's not a complete waste of your time either. So anyway, I'm Your Evil Twin, after rambling for like 4 minutes. What is this book about? Well, Montgomery, aka Monty, that's his nickname, he has a mother who is a zoologist, I believe is what it said, and she's going to go out to some kind of jungle for like a year. And usually she doesn't go out to do these things for very long. They're in the summertime. Typically his cousin from his Uncle Leo's side of the family comes to visit him and his mom and stay there most of the summers. And apparently this time around, Monty is going to live with his Uncle Leo and that cousin that I cannot remember the name of, even though I read most of this book today. It's about 120 pages long. Read most of the book today, and I cannot remember the cousin's name to save my life. I just can't. I don't know why, I just can't. It's just typically Goosebumps type stuff. You can't really keep all of your characters straight most of the time. Anyway, Monty gets along with this cousin a lot. He really admires her, thinks she's a cool chick. And she is. I like that character too, even though I can't remember her. She's your typical cool brother, sister, cousin type of character that you have in Goosebumps. I like her, and I like Monty as well. But when Monty and his mom, a couple of months before she's going to leave to go out to the jungle or whatever, before she's about to leave, they go to visit the uncle. The cousin happens to not be there at the current moment. And they're kind of seeing like the childhood home, I believe, is that the parents, that the mom and the uncle lived in. Anyway, apparently Monty doesn't have a dad around, and the cousin's mother passed away when she was very young. So, this whole prologue is just about that visit, right? And it's only there, really, to set up some things later on in the book. And that's kind of fine, but it started the book off on a decent note, I think. Some pretty surprising, interesting stuff that was pretty neat. A nightmare scene that was pretty great, honestly. And then we cut to when Monty has to come live with Uncle Leo and that cousin. And this is one of those books that really doesn't have much going on in it plot-wise. Of course, when Monty's spending this time here, he has to go to that particular school in that area. We follow that little bit of journey, not tremendously. It's not really focused on the school life type of stuff, but it's in there a little bit. There's some kids at school, the bully character type of kids and stuff. But some weird things start to happen. People start to think that they see Monty do different things, including his cousin. They think that they see him like destroying like the art room at school and that kind of thing. Doing all these things that he doesn't do. He doesn't believe it's okay to do those things. And Monty starts to question some things. Now, his Uncle Leo is also a scientist, just not a zoologist like his mom. And he does some weird experiments and stuff, different things that kind of just cool things in the works, like scientific experiments, things that he keeps very secretive. He has a lab down in the basement that he keeps locked up that no one's allowed into. Again, this might sound very similar to some other Goosebumps books that you've probably read, or at least one famous one that you know very well that was a famous TV episode and everything. It's very similar to another one, a very particular one, but oh well. That's really all I feel comfortable with telling you about, because I don't want to spoil too much of this book for you. And the cover itself, the title of the book, I Am Your Evil Twin, kind of gives a lot of it away. Most of this book is kind of, I guess you could kind of consider it plotless. It's just kind of things happening around Monty that Monty's not even involved with. And that's fine, whatever. That's kind of a plot, right? I mean, I guess. Whatever. There is one particular thing that I will not spoil. Of course, my reviews are always spoiler-free until they're not. When I make videos that say they're spoiler-free or spoiler-filled, whatever. Which I haven't done yet, but eventually I will. Maybe. Monty, there is a twist in this book that was probably one of the greatest twists I've ever seen pulled off in Goosebumps by Stein himself. And I mean that. That was one of the most surprisingly shocking twists I've ever read in a book, much less a Goosebumps book. And it kind of just was great. I was very impressed. And it seems like after that big twist, the other, like, not really half of the book, the other, like, fourth of the book was kind of waning around for me. It didn't really seem like Stein knew where to go with the rest of the book. And I hate to say that, but that happens sometimes with Goosebumps books and with Stein books, like with some of the Fear Street I read, which I've only read like the Christmas books, you know. I've read a lot of Stein, and very rarely do I get a book that I think he doesn't know how to end. For me personally, I think a lot of people have said that, like Spongy says that down in the comments quite often, but for me, not really. I think I typically find them satisfying, if not a little goofy, particularly in the next book I'm about to review after this video. But this one is a real mixed bag, and I'm very surprised people love this one the way they do, just because of the ending. The ending is so, again, it just feels like a copycat, like a copy and paste story of something else that I keep referring to. And that kind of ruined the experience for me just a little bit. I was kind of let down with that, frankly. I wanted to enjoy this a lot more. I did. I don't. It's not the greatest. It's really kind of a letdown, frankly. I'm not in love with it. I'm kind of confused on why other people are in love with it, aside from the really great twist in the book. But other than that, I really don't have much more to say about this. It's competently written, it's engaging for the most part. It's just not amazing, you know. It's really not even what I would consider great by any means. It's very middle of the road for me. It very much just kind of falls apart, I think. And it just, again, it seems very typical of what we've seen already with these books in a lot of areas, a lot of very common areas. So anyway, I don't really have anything negative to say about the book, aside from what I have said. It's not really a bad book by any means at all. It's just not impressive. It's not really something that really stuck with me. If you're newer to Goosebumps and you haven't read this, or if you happen to be a younger reader, this might really appeal to you. You might really, really like this one a lot. But for me, I've read a lot in my life, and I've read a lot of Goosebumps specifically over the recent years. And this one just doesn't take the cake for me, man. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. I know it seems very negative constantly with me on this channel lately, but I just don't see it. I'm sorry, I don't. Anyway, when it comes to Goosebumps Series 2000, number 6, I Am Your Evil Twin, if I had to rate this book on a 5-star basis, and that's not including the excellent looking cover I really like, if I had to rate this one on a 5-star basis, I would give it like a 3 out of 5 stars. It's good, it's fine, but is it great? No. Absolutely not. What did you think about it? Put your thoughts and comments down below, folks. I would love to hear what you have to say. I finally get to go and watch the spoiler reviews from people like Completionists now, because I haven't read this one in forever, and they reviewed it like years ago, like 2 years ago a piece for every single person who talked about it on my community, you know, of this, well, I guess not my community, but this community. Anyway, what are your thoughts again? Put them down below. Thank you for watching, guys. God bless you. Happy Easter once again, and goodbye.